Welcome back to Frugal Man Outdoors. Today we're going to do a product review. The company Out of Air reached out to me and asked me if I would do a review of their product on my channel. So they sent me a few things. They sent me rolls of bags. You cut these to length, you seal one side, and then put your product, your food in there, and then you put it through the vacuum sealer and seal the other side. They also sent multiple size bags. This one bag here is an 11 by 16. And this one here is a 8 by 12. And then the small bag here is a 6 by 10. This one here I've actually cut down to size. I took it off one of the rolls. And I'm going to seal one side, I'm going to fill it, and then seal the other side. Now, if you take notice that they have a nice white bar across them. That way you can write whatever you have in it. I like to write what I put in it and the date that I packaged it. Today here is the 5/4/25. So that way when I go through the freezer, I could see what I actually have in there and what date I packaged it. Now, I also have some stuff here that I've picked up on sale. One of the good things about vacuum sealing your bags is you can buy stuff in bulk and then break it down into small meal-sized portions or individual portions if you want. You'll notice I'm going to do the individual portions with the chicken. And then I picked up some corn on the cob at a really good price. They were having a good sale on them, and I broke them down into manageable sizes, and I'm going to bag those up also. Well, in my home, we normally use 6 of these small ears at once. They're perfect size for, say, a small barbecue, or maybe if we have like a crab boil or something. Those are great for dropping in a crab boil. So give me just a second to get it cleaned up, and then we're going to start vacuum sealing some of this stuff in bags. Okay, first up we're going to do corn. This here, it's raw corn. I didn't blanch it or anything. It doesn't normally last long enough for us to worry about blanching it, so I just left it raw the way it is. And I'm going to take it in here. Stack, like I said, 6 small ears is perfect size for my home. Four, 5, and one more makes 6. There we go. Now, make sure we don't have anything inside the area that's going to be sealed. I had a couple pieces of corn there. And then we'll open it up and put it in our vacuum sealer. Make sure there's plenty of room to put it down inside there. You want to make sure that the food that you're putting in there is not wet or has a lot of water on it. That way it seals properly. If you have wetness there, it may stop the seal from working properly. So we'll lock that down. And we're going to try moist and vacuum. Now this machine will do everything. You'll actually suck all the air out of it. And then when it's done sucking the air out, it'll seal it. You watch the lights over here. When it's done vacuuming, it'll switch over to seal. That light will light up, and then when all the lights go out, we know it's finished. So right now it has switched over to seal. Here in a few more seconds it'll be done. And there we go, all the lights went out. So unlock it and we'll check it out. There's a really good seal all the way across there. And well packaged, ready for the freezer. Now, as far as a review, I'm going to take a look and see how I'm pulling on that pretty good. And it is not coming apart. And when I opened this, I did not hear any air, so that's pretty good. That's very thick. Now, if you notice right here on the edge, I don't know if you can see that, there is a little notch right there. And I noticed that the bags all have that notch. That's an easy way to opening it. What you do is you grab a hold of that right there at that notch and give it a good yank, and you don't need to use scissors to cut these open. It's a little perforation there. The perforation doesn't go through the bag, but it gives you a starting point. But I like that. It is a good solid vacuum on there. There's no leaks in it. And I'm pulling hard. It's not tearing that bag at all. Now, I'm going to try to tear it above the notch above here. See if I can tear that. All it's doing is stretching it. You see that right there? It will not tear. Now if I tear right there where that notch is, then it'll open up easily. But for the corn, that is great. We're going to switch over to something else now. Okay, let's try the individually wrapping the chicken breasts. Let's see. I have the smallest bag, which is the 6x10, I believe. Yep, that's a 6x10. And it's perfect size for one chicken breast. Now these are good sized chicken breasts. The only reason I'm doing one at a time, because if there's only two of us at home and we're having a meal, we just grab two of them. Or if we have a unexpected guest show up for dinner, we could grab an extra one out of the freezer without having to defrost an entire bag of them. So I'm going to do one at a time. Now you can season these prior to putting them in there. Now I personally wasn't going to season these because I don't know what meals we're going to make. Sometimes we'll make stir fry, sometimes we'll just fry them up the way they are, sometimes we'll put them on the grill. But if I already had a plan ahead and I knew what I was going to be making, I could actually pre-season and meal prep with, say, barbecue or Italian dressing down inside there. But if you use any liquid in there at all, make sure you freeze it for a little bit to harden it. That way it doesn't suck into your machine and it doesn't stop the seal from working. So that's just a little tip that I learned by looking things up on YouTube, and I've actually made the mistake, and I'll show you about the green beans later. But here's the chicken. We're going to put it in here and see how it works out. Put it in there, lock it down. It says dry, but I'm going to switch it over to moist and suck that down. That air came out very quick. So it was a smaller bag, it didn't have as much to take out. And now it's sealing it. A few more blinks. And all the lights went out. Now we're going to open it. There we go. It's the same thing. Really good seal. It's all the way across. And also, see the notches there? It's below the seal, so it will also open easily. But I like that. That's perfect size. And I will do the rest of these individual wrapped. Now, if I was doing beef steaks, I would do the beef steaks the same way as I just did the chicken. But I'm going to do pork steaks, and we know we're going to do pork steaks at least 3 at a time because we do them in our air fryer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring the pork steaks over, and we get the large bag. The large bag is a 11 by 16, and we're going to put 3 pork steaks in here at a time. One. Two. I'm making sure there's no sharp bones that's going to poke through the bag. And here's number 3. Okay. Now I got some slime from the meat on the inside of the bag here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a paper towel and wipe the inside. That way it doesn't stop the seal from getting a good contact. A good clean paper towel, just dry all the juices, maybe blood or fat, whatever it is that got wiped on there. Remove all the greasiness. And then we'll add it into our vacuum sealer. Now this is actually the first time I've ever used a vacuum sealer. I tried it out a couple days ago to figure out how to use it, but this is a really good design. I like it. It could save a lot of money if you're buying in bulk, And when you buy in bulk, you get things a whole lot cheaper. And you just break it down into individual bags or meal-sized bags. That way you can meal prep. And then you don't have to worry about stuff going bad or getting freezer burnt in the freezer when you're not using it. You don't have to worry about trying to hurry up and use it if you have other things going. You'll have a good long life of the meats and vegetables in your freezer. And this is almost done too. A couple flashes. I actually sucked all that air out real good. I don't see any air pockets except for right there close to where the two pieces of meat come together. So that's not going to be a problem there. And there we go. The light's out. We're going to check. There we go. There's a good seal all the way across there. And that will stack up nicely in the freezer. And there's one meal. Okay. A couple more things that I thought of. Let's see. I'll get the green beans. Now the green beans. I blanched these green beans, and this is where I made my mistake. The green beans, when you blanch them, are still a little bit wet. So when I put them in the bag and I tried to vacuum seal them, the water got into the seal tray and it didn't get a proper seal. So when I opened it, it leaked. So I looked it up a little bit further and I found out that anytime you put liquid in your bag, you want to freeze it for a few hours before you try to seal it. That way the water or the juices from whatever you put in the bag does not get in the way of the seal. So what I do is I put my blanched green beans in the bag and folded it over a couple times, clipped it, and now I'm going to seal it. Everything in there is frozen, all the water that's from blanching it, and now I'm going to seal it down, and hopefully it'll seal, because when I tried it yesterday, it did not work properly, so I had to learn some more. Like I said, it's all a learning process for me. And we're going to put this back on moist again and vacuum. There we go. It's sucking all the air out, but the water is frozen. Now it's ice, so it's not getting sucked into the machine, and I'm getting a real good seal. And I also forgot the right beans on here, so I'm going to leave it sit out and dry just a few minutes, and then I'll write the green beans on it. And there we go. All right. Another good seal all the way across. That worked out nice. Makes me want to start growing beans again. All right. Now, something else I thought of. You don't only have to use this machine or these bags for stuff that goes in the freezer. Say if you're a prepper or you want to have like a bug out bag for when you say a hurricane's coming through, or you want to protect some goods from being wet during a bad storm, or you're going camping or something. Beans. Everybody tries to keep beans on hand for prepping or their bug out bag or even survival. I mean, they'll put it in their tote that they grab when they go. Beans, they stay dry, but if you get moisture in them, they'll start to swell and they'll go bad. So if you put them in these bags and vacuum seal them, they'll last a whole lot longer. There it is. Okay. Now this came off the roll, the 8-inch roll, and I cut it to where it's larger than the bag of beans. I'm going to leave the beans in this bag and then rebag them on the inside and suck it down tight towards vacuum seal. But with the machine, I'm going to put this in here and close it down and seal it on one end. And the machine also has a dry, so there's nothing in there, so I'm going to leave it on dry and just seal. And that what it'll do is it'll just seal that one end, because on the roll they're only sealed on the sides. That way you can cut them to length. And a few more seconds. And there we go. Oops. And that one end sealed just fine. And do another test while it's still hot even. And pull on that, and it is not coming apart. I am truly putting a lot of pressure on there. You can see the bag is actually starting to stretch from me pulling on it. It's good. It's got a real good tight seal. It'll protect my food well. So now I'm gonna put the beans down inside there. What I am going to do is I'm going to pinch the corner off so that if there's any air inside the bag, it'll come out easily. There we go. And I'll set that down inside there, and we're going to put it in here and seal it. And since there's no moisture in it, I'm going to leave it on dry and vacuum. Sucking it down real good. Remember, I pinched the corner off of the bag, that way if there's any air inside the bag, it got that air out also. And this will store a whole lot better if it's double bagged like this than if it's just the original store bag. Now some people would put them in Ziploc or try to seal them up in a can or something, but this way here will keep all the moisture out. And it's done. There we go. A nice seal. Okay. One more thing. This also goes along with the survival thing. Your survival pack. A lot of people like to put fire starter in their survival pack. So I use a paper towel holder, cut down the size, some dryer lint. Put that down inside here. A good working lighter. I always test them, make sure they work before I put them in there. And there's a small handful of what they call fat lighter. Now this is pitch wood, and it's very easy to make a fire with it. There's the pitch in the pine that burns, and you could start a fire even when it's windy or wet outside. So if you have to have a fire, it's always good to have a good fire starter in your survival pack. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this inside one of the bags. I'm going to use the 6x10 to do so. And then I wrap the fire starter, the pitchwood, in a paper towel. Helps keep it all together. It also keeps it from possibly poking through the bag because there's a couple sharp edges on the wood. Drop my lighter down inside there. And then also the dryer lint. Now that dryer lint is really good for starting fires, even if you don't put it in a survival pack, because it's got a large surface area and it breathes. So if you combine your dryer lint with your fat lighter, you could get a good fire started just about anywhere. So we'll put this in here and lock it down. And this is still dry, so I don't need to put it on moist. We'll vacuum it out. A few more seconds. There we go. It kicked off. So now we have a definite airtight, watertight fire starter pack that you can put in our bug out bag or our survival pack along with our dried beans. I have one last thing. I'm not a big comic book fan, but a good friend of mine sells comic books. So what he did was he gave me some Star Wars comic books because I am a Star Wars fan, as you can see here. I'm going to use these, keep these in my collection, but in order to protect them, I'm going to try to put them in a bag. This is going to be new. I've never tried this one, so hopefully it doesn't damage them. So we're going to take a look. This will preserve it, if I'm thinking right. All right. Put that down in there. And let's try it. That worked out nice. Yep, all the pockets are taken out. It did not crumble around the comic book. It's nice and flat, and it'll protect it from any moisture. That worked out really good. It's rigid, so it'll stack nice. So if you have a high dollar comic book that you don't ever let anyone touch and you keep in the comic book sleeve, you might want to look into putting it in a vacuum sealed bag. It will never get wet. So if you have some type of catastrophe that happens and everything gets scattered, say a tornado or a hurricane or something, and you come back to pick up your pieces, your high dollar comic books will not be destroyed if they're in something like this. I like that. So overall, with these products, I like them. Everything is nice and dry. I have everything here is still pulled nice and tight. Like I said, I've tried pulling on these and they will not open. They have a really good seal on them. So these are good. I would recommend getting you some of these. These are a good product. So if you want to, look it up online. It's called Out of Air. The promo code is OutofAir / Frugalman and use the promo code Frugalman Outdoors to give you 10% off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. See you next time.